without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our first act. We originally had scheduled an act called Salmon Bowler. They were unable to make it. However, we did find an amazing replacement all the way from Richmond, Rhode Island. Please put your hands together for Cheryl and Gina, Psychic Medium.
Thank you. I'm Gina.
I'm Cheryl.
And we're from Richmond, Rhode Island. Rhode Island.
Wow, there's a lot of energy in this audience. A lot of you know someone who's died.
Yeah, within the last 100, 300 years, I'm seeing an older gentleman.
Older gentleman, had a cane, had a walker, sometimes did this.
Yes, a little bit of that, had back pain. Does that sound familiar?
Ate canned goods.
I'm seeing a lot of nodding.
Someone, yes, ate canned goods.
Yes.
Canned
It
goods.
was peas, green beans,
Yep.
carrots.
No more, most likely. Okay, American. So you were just in, I'm seeing a circle, a smaller circle, and a dot. Like a target, or you were at target practice.
Yes.
You were in
Yes.
a target.
You've been in a target recently.
Okay, so
Yes.
this is connecting.
Okay.
You're going to
Yes.
understand this in just a moment. You are in the costume department.
Yes.
You were just in the costume department. You walked by. Something caught your eye. Can I say that that's accurate? Okay.
Say so.
Yes.
Okay.
So the person from the other side is saying, "Do not buy that costume."
You did
It would
right.
be a very big mistake.
Yeah,
It's
you were
going to
right
be
to
some.
walk
What
by.
was the idea? Because I'm getting. What do you want to be for Halloween?
I wanted to be the ghost from Charlie Brown with all the.
Yes. Okay. Well, don't.
Yeah.
They're saying
They're
don't.
saying no.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Good. Okay, this message is someone, a female who washed her hands. Like this. A female who would wash her hands.
She just did.
Sometimes after working with eggs.
Yes.
That would be sometime that she would wash her hands. If she used an egg in a recipe, she would wash her hands. Anybody know someone who passed who is a female who would wash her hands after egg use?
Anyone here?
Anyone
Don't
interact
be
with
shy.
egg? Yes, yes, yeah. This
Yes.
is ringing true for you.
All
Yes.
right.
I can tell you
That's true.
You are verifying her
I've seen
story.
this happen.
This
This is creepy.
And this female has passed.
Oh.
Okay, passing the other side, yes.
Did you do a 2-pump with the soap? Or one?
One pump. But she would always lather. She would always lather. She would lather. She's showing us this. She's showing us
What was
this.
really unique about her is that she looked out a window while she was doing it.
Yeah.
Her house was unique in that there was a window
There's a
in front of
window.
the sink.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true. And sometimes when she washed the dishes, she would then put them onto a sort of device to dry them, to sort of let the air dry them, to come between, the air to come between the dishes, dry.
So
Does that
she's
sound true?
coming, sounds,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
confirmed.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
we're thinking the message is, just do the dishes more often.
Yeah,
Serve,
right.
reuse,
Serve,
reduce.
yes, but just, give them a rinse right away. Don't use as much soap.
Don't it may not seem like a big deal, but one day you'll wake up and get
Yeah, and she's ticking it off.
and she loves you.
Yeah, it's not actually up there, it's actually to the side, but we'll explain it.
Yes, yes.
All right, I'm seeing something else here. Someone
No, someone with like an
L,
L,
yep,
B,
LB, an LB
LB in the name.
in the name, somewhere in the name.
D.
There was an L somewhere, a B somewhere, a D somewhere.
or maybe not. I'm getting
Yeah, we're getting both things. We're getting
I'm
both.
getting-
The spirit world is showing us door open, door closed, and that
Closed,
means
door
maybe, maybe
door
not.
closed.
Maybe,
Right, I'm
maybe
trying
not.
to think
Yeah,
now that this
yeah.
person that's coming through,
Yeah.
you're seeing it too
I am
because we are
seeing this.
connected.
Yes, we are.
Is that they're opening a door.
Yeah.
And they did it often.
They did it often. They would open doors,
Anyone
especially
open
closed
doors?
ones. If they were closed first, they would open them.
Yeah.
They would
Is
never
that
open them.
familiar?
Yeah.
BLD and the
BLD.
other letters that we did say.
Yep. Yep.
Anyone? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. The dead
Someone who
is
is passed because of something that caused their death. Does anybody does that relate to anybody here? Someone who's passed something like that. So that makes sense. Someone.
No.
Someone would open a door, close the door. At
So
times.
no, you know no one
No
that
one here.
opened doors. This is a very
This
this
is
is a phenomenon itself.
no
There
one
should
here
be
knows
studied.
someone.
No
who's
one
passed.
knows.
You
So
know know,
yeah,
someone who's-
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you for
sorry,
being
it
honest.
jogged my, I
Listen,
forgot about it. I
Sometimes
forgot about
open a
it,
door,
yeah.
sometimes wouldn't.
Death is
It
scary,
was.
and I
blocked it,
understand
I blocked it.
Yes.
that you don't want to raise your
Yes,
hand
I
and just be
understand.
honest.
No, that's.
Because the person from the other realm
Yeah.
is saying, in the spiritual world, they're saying, you lie sometimes.
Yeah.
I have.
And it gets you
Yeah.
in trouble. Because
Yes.
you're going to lie
You're
to
gonna
us
lie.
right now
Yes.
that you did not know
I
someone
They
who
know.
opened
They
You
do.
doors.
know, sometimes you eat sandwiches with meat.
Do you know what that Do you know what that sounds
Yeah.
like to us when you lie and a spirit gets mad?
No.
It's like a siren
Yeah.
in our ears where our brains were actually, they just want to explode. So never lie
Okay.
again,
Yeah.
especially when they
From
confront
you or
you.
from him? From him? From you? From
Both.
Both. Him.
Both.
It was a male.
Oh, yeah.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a
So we're
male.
seeing.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yeah.
he was he
Yeah.
had an okay temperament,
Yeah.
hot and cold.
Is
Hot
it?
and
Yes.
cold.
he
Sometimes,
was.
sometimes be angry.
We're seeing him go like this, and
Yeah,
then
sometimes we'd be cold, sometimes we'd be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ate chicken wings.
He had, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
big. That was
Right?
big.
That was big. Ate chicken wings.
But he said that
Um,
you would always bug him because he left too
yes.
much meat on the bone. You're like,
Yeah, it's always like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. He
yeah.
had a T-shirt that had a logo on it.
Yeah, either on the
Somewhere,
pocket,
On
somewhere.
here, the middle, on the pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
They
right,
had
right,
random
right,
T-shirts
yeah.
you never
Yes.
knew where they were from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you
Right,
acquire that?
Some T-shirts had no logos.
Yes, definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Yes, most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them had no
Yeah.
logos.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he sends you signs, sometimes as junk mail, because he
Mhm.
doesn't
Yes,
understand
I
how to
do.
use a computer.
Right. Right.
Um,
Sometimes he'll send you 20% off Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, actually, that's what it is. It is that, and also sometimes you'll see a cardinal, just a beautiful cardinal out in the window.
Not this time of year, but
Yeah.
You know, soon, and you look out and you're like,
Soon.
it's snowing. Does this
Mhm.
suffer? And
Yeah,
you see, it's
yeah.
idyllic. It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you're in a wonderful life.
Yeah.
Like something great's gonna happen.
That's how you know.
That's
That-
that's
that's
your
it.
that's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Wow.
Yeah. But sometimes you go, is that really a cardinal?
Mhm.
And then you question his existence. It's him. Okay, it was a cardinal, and you're gonna see a bunch this Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
Or
Or
Hanukkah, happy holidays.
yes. Christmas nailed it. Nailed it.
2018. I don't
Yeah.
think.
No. I don't
So-
think.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We had one more someone who knows
We have
someone.
one more. There's another. Past. Past.
Where
It's
I'm
okay to
seeing
talk
a
about.
J in the name,
Or the
or
middle last.
the middle first and or last name, or sometimes they would say J words. They were in a car accident. They either died in a car accident, or were hurt in a car accident, or had a car accident at some point in their life, and then were just fine for a while. Is that someone
They
that
witnessed.
remembers that?
They witnessed
They witnessed a car accident, so is that ringing true for someone? It was a car accident that impacted their life because the cars impacted each other. Okay, you see when the two cars hit each other in the spirit world, when the two cars hit each other, the two lives are impacted. Okay? Information's exchanged, knowledge is gained, boundaries are established.
Yep.
Okay? They see this. This makes sense. This makes sense for someone out there who's had someone who's passed.
We had training for our TED Talk. You can see it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes,
So
you can
this
see it on
is-
YouTube. We've
this
been
is a
doing a lot of
concept.
series of cold TED Talks just in our living room.
Yeah. So we really go
Give
into
it dry
detail with
runs.
TED Talk.
We do.
Yeah, we do give
We
it
do,
dry
we
runs.
give
We
it dry
pepper
runs.
it in.
If you YouTube Cheryl and Gina Psychic Mediums, you'll see all of our TED Talks filmed. I'm seeing another crash.
Did someone do a?
This time,
Scooter accident.
Oh my God.
a scooter accident? No.
Scooter accident.
It was.
Did
No,
someone back
that's
into
a different.
a
That's
car?
like.
Well, I think you're thinking maybe we're talking about something tragic, but even if you bumped, you backed out and you hit the car, has
Have you
anyone been
ever
in a bumper?
someone who's passed and they were putting their cart away and they just bumped a cart a little bit?
And you as the passenger,
You
were
have
like,
some.
Yeah.
You have another person who's passed.
Yeah,
A lot of people have died. I'm so
I do
sorry.
see multiple. I do see multiple orbs around you.
Yeah, it's just the orbs are crazy.
Yeah.
Orbs. All right, so
And you're wearing a sweater.
yes.
It means you're cold. See, those of you don't know, ghosts leave cold energy everywhere. So what you wore a sweater today, like we're sleeveless.
Yes.
Because we're like, it's not gonna be that bad. We're
It's not gonna be
indoors,
that bad.
but
We're
you're
indoors.
always
It's
chilly.
always chilly for the
You're always
spirits.
chilly.
You're right.
And when you go to the doctor, it's not anemia. or leukemia. It's not those
No.
things because you
No.
don't have one of those things. Is what they're telling
And you
us.
brush your teeth.
I think so.
Good.
Yes, it's good. So when you were with this person, were you with this person when they backed up?
Oh, yes.
They were in like a department store.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
saying a department
Say
store
department
parking
store?
lot.
Again, the Target?
Again, yeah.
No, again,
Is
the
this the
It's
same
not a good
person?
place. It's not a safe space.
It's not a safe space for you. This is.
This person is calling back? Is this the same person?
No.
I don't know if you're getting this. I'll transmit it. Touch.
Thank
But all right, so this is happening around Target. Something you're a Target. Does that make sense?
You've used the Target emoji in all seriousness.
I have.
You have, yes. You know, you feel like you're being watched, and it's because you are.
You are.
So when you walk by,
You are- yeah.
well, you're going to be in a Target soon. This is what this person is saying.
Mhm.
And someone's going to walk by you, and they're going to look at you, and you're going to dismiss it for a while, but that's your hitman. We don't know
This
who
would be
you
the same
wrong.
trip. You're going to buy something on the end cap.
Yes,
Okay?
and this
You're
person.
going to buy something, possibly a shampoo saran wrap to another smaller trial size.
Free trial.
Right.
It's going to be marked down for $5.34.
Right. Remember those
And you're
words.
going to get it.
534.
534.
Remember that.
Okay?
And you might get a 666 at a Dunkin'. And sit there and go. It happens to me all the time.
The best of us.
Here's my profession. They meet me at Dunkin'. But keep 534.
534.
You're a target.
Target.
A man's gonna look at you.
Yes.
You're a hitman.
Got it.
Seek refuge. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, it's time for our next act tonight. So I would love to welcome to the stage the rest of the horror movie crew. Cool. Cool, yeah.
We got a bunch of chairs.
Yeah. So, folks, all we need to get started to create a never-before-seen horror film for you is a song lyric. Any song lyric.
I'm afraid of changing because I've built my life around you.
Afraid of changing, because I built my life.
Sorry.
Okay, in the background on the poster, we see like a very high wall.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like moss growing in between the bricks on this wall. There's like
Oh, and there's like constant cracks in the bricks and where the mortar is like chipping away, and in every set of cracks you see eyeballs just like staring through the cracks in the wall.
And then in front of the wall, there's a scared young man who's just kind of looking at out from the poster, just like, and he's got like a.
And there's just like through a crack in the wall where he was standing, like looking out. There's just like there's little fingers coming through the wall and just like resting on his shoulder, ominously. And then up at the very top of the wall, you see a few shadowy figures. You can't really make out who they are, but they're like kind of silhouettes.
kind of in the foreground, like near the front of the movie poster, you see kind of like a standard strip mall. There's like a shoe store and a video store, and there's like a liquor store, and there's a Whole Foods.
And there's a really, really, really old Blockbuster that hasn't been, demoed or anything yet. It's still an old Blockbuster. It's covered in like spider webs, and it just looks darker than all the other.
And the Whole Foods has a pentagram in red. And there's just a lot of graffiti like that. A lot of like wishing.
The parking lot outside the strip mall is filled entirely with bicycles. There's not a single automobile. They're all painted black. All of the tires are painted red.
Up at the top of the poster is the tagline, which is, all in all, they're just a bunch of bricks in the wall. We open on a shot of a bus stop. There's a kindly young woman sitting at the bus stop, checking her watch. She seems very anxious, very ready to get someplace. You know, she's sweating profusely. There's sweat like dripping off her face down on her We actually cut to a close-up of the puddle of water, and we see in the reflection of the puddle of sweat a man in a fedora approaching. And then we cut back to the main scene, and we see that the man in the fedora is there behind her.
Something must be wrong with this bus driver. He's not usually late. I wonder what's happening to him. Oh, I carry this kind of anxiety everywhere I go.
This bus is always slow.
Oh, sir, I didn't see you there.
I was behind you.
Oh,
We got to a close-up of the man in the fedora. We see on his face that there's a scar running across his eye, and that this one eye is all white, and that there's a little bit of an indentation where the eye is. The other eye's normal, it's blue.
just like a bunch of skin happening over here. The fedora looks significantly more aged and old upon closer inspection. Like it's seen a lot of shit in its fedora life.
And just a bunch of chest hair coming out of every button on the shirt.
Yeah, it's a button shirt, but there's chest hair popping out of each little thing. Yeah.
There's a Twizzlers just hanging out of it.
In one top line is here.
The camera zooms in on his one milky eye. And it gets closer and closer and closer and closer, and then it becomes a transition shot to just a blank white screen that then slowly resolves. And as it resolves, it's like a pan down from a bright sun. And as it pans down, it pans onto a construction site where we see several workers who are in the process of mixing mortar. There are people who are prepping bricks for laying. It looks like your average standard sort of construction site area.
We can hear like power tools and conversation kind of going.
Oh, I hope wife got me something good in my lunch today.
Brian, you have to take some independence. I mean, honestly, you're a grown man. You can make decisions about what you eat for lunch.
Well, I like to be surprised, you know? I'm not the kind of person who's easily shocked by stuff, so I like to be shocked by my lunch sometimes if I can be.
Does Beth like the pressure of having to surprise you every day? Like, think about her.
Jesus, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I never thought about how my wife felt. Shit.
As they're talking, the camera slowly zooms in on this worker who hasn't really been saying much. The conversation is still going in the background, but the camera's focused in on him. And as he reaches down to get another brick, out from the mortar, a hand just shoots up and grabs him. He tries to call for help, but another hand just shoots up and grabs his mouth. He's being sucked directly into some crevasse in the midst of the construction zone. And then up comes the title, All in All, You're Just a Bunch of Bricks in the Wall.
I told you I wanted colorful siding on this house. I wanted a super cute Dutch colonial revival.
This is what we got. This was the only house that we could buy.
I know, but I know this should be a joyful moment for us, but I still just feel like we settled. We didn't buy the house we really wanted.
And as this professional young couple are talking, the camera zooms in just for a moment and lingers on the fact that this character, now being played by a different actor, is covered in a light beading of sweat. The conversation continues.
You're sweating.
There's something wrong with this house. I mean, it's not just about the bricks, it's not about the siding. There's something wrong here.
What do you mean, like ghosts? I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, you are a fool if you don't believe in ghosts. You don't know the kind of things I've seen.
In the background, we see bricks sliding out, kind of like a very precariously Jenga game. Kind of hear like a shh.
Ghosts can infiltrate your mind. They can make you see things that aren't there. Ghosts are very complicated.
Something's happening with the bricks. Is that supposed to do that?
We hear the doorbell ring.
Ding
I love the doorbell now.
Yeah.
We've got to admit, the doorbell's
The doorbell's pretty cute.
We cut to a shot of the door, and from inside the house, but we see that on the other side of the door is the fedoraed man with his scar, but he's wearing a postman's uniform. Bing bong.
Hello. Come right in our house.
Okay.
It's totally fine.
I had a really weird feeling before you showed up, and now all of my suspicions are confirmed. The suspicion that weird shit was gonna happen has been confirmed.
Oh, is the house trying to get you?
No.
Yes! No! I've been trying to
Oh
No.
There must be some crazy backstory about this house that you can fill us in on. You seem like someone who's been around.
no! Hold my bag! Well, 300 years ago, this town was settled mostly by French Canadians.
Oh my god!
French Canadians come on stage.
They're translucent and ghostly. They serve to punctuate the story.
But then the Americans showed up and killed everyone without even talking to them, buried them underneath. More or less, like buried them shoulder to shoulder, about a foot deep underneath every structure in the town. Roughly a foot. And now everything tries to kill everyone.
So those two things are just kind of loosely related? Like people die and then now other people are trying to kill each other?
We.
A subtitle pops up. Yes.
Could be.
This is just fascinating.
I mean, I was worried before, but now I think it's kind of cool.
Ooh.
There's a slight creaking behind the fedoraed man's head.
I must be seeing things.
Should I look?
Oh, fuck! You should look. Yeah, no, we should move, honey.
I can't see anything on that side of my head.
Oh,
Go ahead.
As the spectral hands emerge from the brickwork in the wall, we watch as they slowly pull the mailman into the brickwork. His body starts to meld with the brick. His tortured screams as a really dazzling array of special effects cause him to just melt into the wall. His blood and entrails start to burst through as the brick almost
what is this raining?
Why am I still alive?
I'm suffering!
all of a sudden eventually there's silence. And then one little area of the brickwork reveals and a fedora comes forward.
Shit.
Do we touch it? Like,
Yeah.
okay. I was more hesitant, but you can touch it.
Yeah, it's just a hat. Is there a note inside? Is there something written?
Yeah, there's a little piece of paper. I'm too scared to touch it. You pull it, it's folded. You can see it's in the little lip there. Yeah.
In the event of my untimely demise, whosoever receives this hat shall gain the knowledge of the town of Woonsocket.
We cut to the Woonsocket Police Department. There's a pair of lazy cops just hanging out eating donuts.
see my wife in a week.
You guys have been having trouble, huh?
Yeah, just, we're not as spry as we used to be. You know, we used to frolic in fields and just
Really?
not care. Yeah. You know, daisies.
You did that literally?
Oh yeah. You know, like in the flower fields of Woonsocket.
For just a moment, the camera lingers on the duty roster on the wall behind them, and we see that almost all of the names on the police force's duty roster have been crossed out, and little notes have been placed next to their names saying out of town, out sick, in the hospital, visiting friends. So there's almost no one left in the police department.
A couple more just say still missing, and then generally unreliable.
So I've been playing a lot of solitaire lately.
Getting good.
Yeah, people don't give it credit, but it's a well-designed game. You don't think about it, but it takes a real genius to design a game that you can just play by yourself. Sorry, the phone's ringing. Woonsocket Police Department.
Is this the Woonsocket Police Department? Is it?
Yep.
You
Yeah,
just
that's us.
said that.
Yeah, we're here.
You seem really relaxed. I have a crisis I need to tell you about. Are you paying attention, good sir?
There's a crisis pregnancy center right down the street.
No, not crisis pregnancy. You need to listen to me, okay? This is important. Are you listening, sir?
Let me put you on speaker.
Okay.
You're on speakerphone.
Hello, am I on
do you need
speaker
to, wait,
now?
do you need to talk into the phone if she's on speakerphone?
Yeah.
You just talk.
I think
This is
for
super-
yeah.
Okay.
So like
Is
you bring a
anyone
little
still
closer
there?
to
Gotcha, okay.
split the difference.
Good call.
Yeah.
You're on speakerphone.
You're on
And-
speakerphone.
But as a
Guys,
backup,
are you
we
okay?
have you. Wait, shut up for a second. As a backup, we're also speaking to you on the receiver.
Right. You got that?
So the action continues, but the sound cuts out, and we see a series of fade in and fade outs as this exact conversation continues for what seems like another several hours. We cut back in, the lights are darker outside, it is clearly approaching nighttime, and the conversation is now approaching its zenith.
So that's why I think solitaire's good. It's a game. It's hard to design. I've been trying to design a game for a long time.
Minesweeper just doesn't have the longevity
It doesn't,
that that solitaire has.
You're right.
Right.
You guys still paying attention to the pile of bodies that's like piling up outside my house right now? You
What
got all
game is that?
We smash cut back to the house where just like townsfolk are like walking down the street and then like stepping on the sidewalk and being dragged under the ground.
Another one.
As long as I'm holding this hat, weird shit keeps happening. Sorry, fedora, not a hat.
Thank you for correcting.
I mean, I don't want to insult it.
No.
It played a part in sucking the last person we saw through the wall. Through the wall,
Bricks.
right? We did see it, right? Like, we're both not crazy. You
I
didn't drug
saw
me
it.
with anything?
I didn't take any drugs. I didn't drug you. I promise this time I did it.
As they're speaking, the camera zooms in on the wall. A small crack in the wall. And out from the crack, just for a second, you see a malformed version of the fedored man's face. His eyes still white and glazed over. He tries to just squawk out a few desperate words of warning.
Don't! Watch out! Wall's hand! Grab! Die!
And he's sucked back into the wall.
I got a few words out of that. I heard crab, die, wall.
You sure it was crab?
No, I'm not.
So as this conversation is happening, we see that one at a time, again, some really amazing special effects as bricks one at a time start inching their way closer and closer and closer. The characters are like only quasi-conscious of what's happening as the entire back wall of the house, the side walls of the house start closing in. And as this is happening, the camera pulls back and back and back and out and we start seeing the entire town. We see a wide shot of the entire town of Woonsocket as houses condense in and in and in on their occupants. And then there's a beat of silence as the entire town is quiet. And then up from the ground, all over town, spectral forms, dressed in furs, with large bulbous noses and long, robust hair. They carry muskets. They carry spy glasses. They start looking around the town that they have reclaimed as their own once again.
You know, I don't care about the wood siding as much anymore. There's other things I really don't like about this neighborhood.
Yeah. Or like what's happening now with these ghostly
These weird
apparitions.
corporal things that are not quite corporal. Or...
Yeah, I don't know. They're all like white guys too.
They're all
It's making it worse.
Do you kind of just want to get sucked into the wall right now in our house?
I mean, you get it over with. It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen, right?
As they say that, the walls creep closer,
Oh, hurt us.
closer, and creep closer until the only thing we see through the wall is one hand.
Special thanks to the crew who brought snacks.
Yeah, about 100,000 people.
Chuck Howard was in it somehow. All right. Keep it going for the horror movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of what you've seen so far tonight has been improvised, has not been planned or pre-thought or rehearsed in any way, but what is about to happen next is in fact sketch comedy. So you're about to see something that has been carefully written and crafted and constructed. So without further ado, I present Pig Sketch.
Ugh, that wedding expo just gave me way too many options. Ugh, and Todd's been so busy at work, he's left all of our decision-making up to me. And I know our wedding's not for 6 months, but I could really use some ideas. How did you all celebrate?
Well, we were married at the First Baptist Church downtown. You know, the big one on Steeple Street. Oh, it was beautiful. The church was filled to the rafters with custom floral arrangements. And we even flew in Sam's childhood priest, Father Nathan, from his parish to perform the ceremony.
It was a bit expensive, but you know it was nice.
We had our ceremony at the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast Museum at the stroke of midnight, All Hallows Eve. The power of death surrounded us. And our officiant's faux blood dripped onto the scroll of our marital ceremony.
It reeked of death.
This sounds awfully intimate. But catering. There's so many options for catering.
We went with Upcity Bistro for all of our catering. There was an ice sculpture of me and Sam and our first facial freeze Muppet. And there was a chocolate fountain and a cookie bar spread.
A little dry, but it was all right.
We enjoyed the meal Mr. and Mrs. Borden ate while they were alive. Johnny cakes, vegetables, mutton stew that had been sitting out for several days. I don't remember what we had for dessert. So, what was it?
Shallow pudding. Oh, nice.
That sounds awfully interesting, but maybe a little bit Victorian for my taste. But what about your services?
Oh, we had a ring ceremony celebrating that love has no end. We promised to be like the rings and always encircle each other with our love.
And mine gets in the way when I play video games sometimes.
We had a symbolic dedication as well. The noose hanging around Zed's neck was tightened as a sign of our tying the knot forever.
And after.
And don't even get me started about music. I have no idea what to do about music.
We had the Boston String Ensemble. I highly recommend them. They played a beautiful rendition of Thinking Out Loud for our first stand.
Not a big Ed Sheeran fan, but it was fun.
We danced to the sound of pigeons being slaughtered. And my father-daughter dance was to the ballad of Lizzie Borden on theremin.
Sorry, but wasn't your father already dead?
We dug him up.
That sounds like a very family-oriented wedding.
So, what are you thinking for after the ceremony? We exited the church and gave everybody bubble wands. We didn't want them throwing rice and hurting the birds.
I got bubbles in my hair.
Yeah.
We handed out bags of rice so the birds would die. We then retreated to our guest room to consummate the marriage. Attention to detail for historical accuracy made it easy to make love to him that night. But we were visited by the spirit of Mrs. Borden. So we put on a good show. In respect of the dead.
She looked like she wanted to join in.
I can't wait to set up my gift registry.
We did all the usual suspects. Curry Barn, Marcus, Anthropology.
Really more of a Target kind of guy.
We registered at Hot Topic. We also had the option for our guests to donate to our funeral Kickstarter. Said, what was that other place? I can't remember.
The Christmas tree shop.
You're not going to see this next act because it is an improv form called The Bat. So could I get the Providence Improv Guild Bat players up here right now? So the thing with the bat is it's done totally in the dark. This is going to be a sonic experience for all of you. So to inspire our radio play, can we just get something that you only do in the dark? We're all adults here.
Developing film.
Developing
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Theatre of the macabre. Tonight, we find a young man stooped in a red light. Hello. He straightens quickly, seemingly unperturbed. Ah!
Oh, I'm not perturbed.
Focused diligently on his work, he has several rolls of negative film. He's slowly looking over the pools of chemicals with which he gets to see the photos as they develop slowly in front of his eyes.
Look at this one. In the water. Yeah.
But one picture stands out to him. He focuses in on a beautiful dame's face. He notices that he remembers her.
But no, I saw this lady at a train station just yesterday.
Suddenly, his memory is brought back to that very day.
Ah!
Well, hello there. I'm just trying to find the train place with the times. 'Cause I don't know what time my train comes in.
All you need is one of these fancy new brochures they just started handing out at the train station.
Oh, wow. This is so futuristic. Well, thank you, sir. I'm gonna go now.
You're welcome. Oh, say, before you go,
Yeah?
what was your name?
Oh, I can't say. My train's coming. Goodbye.
Although train to train place from somewhere else, leaving at some time eventually.
Fortunately for the man, the name label flew off her suitcase as she ran away. The name Rosa Vasquez.
Rosa Vasquez.
Rosa Vasquez.
Suddenly, we cut back to that young man in his black room, looking over his photography.
This is Rosa Vasquez, that lady I met on the subway. What could this mean? Wait, who's that in the picture with her?
And just as the image is about to clarify, the door to the dark room opens. Light floods into the room, destroying the negative in his hand.
Ah, shucks.
Jackson, are you dealing with those condescending cameras again?
It's what I do, Craigerson.
I keep telling you to quit fiddling around with that camera and photography nonsense. Get your head out of the clouds, boy. It's gonna lead you nowhere.
Is he doing the negative
He's
things
doing
again?
the negative things again, Doris.
What am I supposed to do? Just write an article like the rest of you newspaper hooligans?
Hey!
Everybody knows that the written, printed word is never going nowhere, not nowhere, no how. Newspapers are here to stay, boy.
Hear that?
I have to solve the mystery of Rosa Vasquez, and the only way to do it is through photography.
The room goes silent, as if everyone knows who Rosa Vasquez is. You're talking about the Rosa Vasquez?
Did somebody say Rosa Vasquez?
An old man in the corner of the newsroom, adjoining the dark room, creaks up from his desk. He stumbles forward with his crutch out in front of him. And he says, "Well, I remember when I was just a young beat reporter. Why, I chased down the tail of Rosa Vasquez myself."
We go back in time to when he was that young man meeting Rosa Vasquez.
It's even older times now. My voice is terrible, even as a young man.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
My name is... Oh, well, I don't know my name, but I need to catch my horse and carriage.
A dame who don't know her name. Well, there's a story here, I'm sure of it.
You mean I could go into one of the old general stores and give me a map to tell me when my horse and carriage is coming?
Well, that's true. I'm working on a new type of writing that'll let people know all sorts of information regularly.
Well, you're so much smarter than me, but I gotta go.
Extra, one day I'll be holding a newspaper.
Red on it. Rosa Vasquez.
Why would she carry this?
We return to the present day newsroom. The young man is still in the development room, and the old man is staring at him, and it's been just staring at him for at least 5 minutes, not saying anything.
I have glaucoma.
Suddenly, the editor of the newspaper comes out of his office. Don't listen to that old man. He's been talking about that woman that never ages and never dies for nigh on 70 years.
I'm still on the payroll.
I don't know what either of you has up your sleeve, but it seems that at least one of you is trying to hide something. Editor James.
That's my name. Never stop using it. You listen to me, kid. If you want to make it in this business, you follow the stories that are true. Now, there ain't no nothing to nobody about somebody who doesn't age.
The photographer throws a bowl of development fluid into the editor's eyes and screams, "What are you hiding? What are you hiding? You know!" Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it would be that bad.
As the developing fluid eats away at his flesh, it reveals not a human face and skull underneath, but scaly lizard-like features.
What?
Oh my God, you found my hermit!
Call 911!
No, this is how I'm supposed to look, you idiots!
When the EMTs arrive, a young female EMT opens the door. She sees Editor James the lizard.
It's you! Back when we were reptilian creatures, I asked you if I could jump on the back of a T-Rex. But I didn't know when they were coming, and so I asked you.
We cut back to them as reptilian creatures with T-Rexes. A giant stone tablet kadoosh, falls from one of their pockets, and carved into it in ancient draconic runes is the name Rosa Vasquez. We snap back to the present, and in unison, the reptilian editor, the old reporter, and the young photographer in unison say, Rosa Vasquez!
It's me! It's true! I never die. I'm here to ruin the world. I plan on taking it over and then starting my own race of Rosa Vasquez's.
I've been mispronouncing your last
Yes! All of you stupid men have! Oh, it makes me so angry!
Rosa, it doesn't have to be like that.
I don't love you anymore!
And with a flick of her reptilian claws, she rips the life from every man in the room.
That's what you get! I hope it hurts!
And as she exits, leaving nothing but dead bodies, computers, developing liquid behind.
The first computers, mind you.
One single lone computer the size of the entire wall. A giant belt of loop and cable and tape.
And there's a printout. Yes! And from that printout, a single tiny roll of paper, and printed on the roll of paper is the name Rosa Vasquez. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another offering from the Pig Sketch Crew. So one more time, put your hands together for something totally scripted and rehearsed.
God, this
Oh
is my
shit!
hair.
You look just like him, dude. You look just like him.
It's not even a wig. What? Dude, nice.
Holy shit! If you were the real Tom Brady, I would give you all the candy in the house and like a fucking kiss on the lips. Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. Yeah.
Oh, you know what I wish? I wish I could lie in bed with Tom Brady, naked,
Yep.
and talk about what couple's costume we're gonna be.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
like I could be the football, he
Yep.
could be his hand.
Yep. Yeah. Or I could be like a slutty Bill Belichick.
I'd straight up dress up as Giselle. Just Tom Brady rail me.
Yeah.
Daddy, are they gonna give me candy or what?
Guys, we have a lot of houses to get to, so.
Yeah.
I want to take the Snickers bar, rub it up and down your body, and lick off the little chocolate trails it leaves behind.
Yeah, you like Necco wafers? I want to fill your candy corn hole with Necco wafers and eat them out. Eat them out one by one. You're the greatest of all time.
Dude, Skittles? I'll put each Skittle in each of your crevices, and then I wanna get them, taste them all so I can taste the rainbow.
We're leaving now.
I don't know, I said trick or treat and I didn't get any candy.
Let's go.
That was so cute.
That was cute. I think we really made our Halloween.
Yeah. Let's go finish Great Pumpkin.
Yeah. Let's turn off these lights too. Now we don't.
Keeping on the pigs. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more spine-tingling act for you tonight. We couldn't let you leave without a proper, good old-fashioned murder mystery.
All right, we're gonna do some improv for you. So all we need to get started is a reason why all of these adults would have a sleepover together.
Watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yes. I'm glad this show's back.
Yeah. They're doing something really spooky with it too. It's not like as fun as Melissa
Like
Joan Hart.
Riverdale.
Yeah, they're spooking it up.
I just think
Which
it's from
was
the
the
cat is
generation.
bisexual.
The cat is bisexual. The cat is super fun.
That's important.
Yes.
It's a push to the show, honestly.
There's not a lot of bisexual warlock cats on TV.
Not enough.
No.
Yeah, not really.
No.
Not enough is right.
No. We gotta make snacks.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
Sabrina without.
We get seltzers? You want me to get some seltzers?
Oh, yeah,
Seltzers is good.
seltzers.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you could just.
Oh, that was weird.
That's weird.
Hey, just because he might have deserved it.
Let's just everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Right? Everybody calm down.
Did you try to save
Relax.
Calm down.
Relax, everybody.
Everyone keep an eye on Peter.
I did not do anything.
You're right there.
That's what they would say if you did
We don't
something,
know.
so.
I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe he walked into a wall. We don't know what happened.
Right. You could try
How
to
did he get
Okay.
that much?
He walked
was
into a
stabbed.
sharp
Was he stabbed
wall.
once?
He was sta-
Look, does anybody want chips?
Look.
Yeah, Doritos. I can really use some
I
Doritos.
would do seltzer. I don't know if I can eat. I'll do seltzer.
Not sour cream and onions.
Someone
Yes.
will probably call my queasy stomach a little bit.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
just want to point
That's
out,
why
I
we're
was
not
not near.
Yeah.
I was not near the body
No,
this
yeah,
time.
back over. All right, Peter.
Oh my god.
You might have thrown a knife.
Oh shit!
It's
just aftershocks. It's just aftershocks. What happens when he dies? We're just gonna go with that. We're not gonna question that. Okay. I don't know. Okay.
That's
I don't know. What do you?
Wow.
Oh god.
You got blood on you
That's
too.
weird.
I don't know how this got. I have a little bit, and I don't know how it got.
I don't know how I got it all over.
Let's not point fingers now.
Yeah.
Let's not point fingers now.
Yeah, just because I got blood all over me doesn't mean
Does anybody, would anyone need a Choco Taco right now?
Yes!
Yes! Choco Tacos?
Oh,
Choco Tacos.
3
Choco Tacos.
I'm gonna throw up.
I'll give you this one. That could have been me. That could have been me.
All right. We're all upset Katie's dead. All right?
She owed me money.
No, they were just students. It shouldn't have happened to them.
I think it was.
All right? Listen. This chair was very close to 2 of the bodies when we moved it.
Wait.
I was with the chair earlier.
No, that's a good idea. Let's move all the chairs.
Move the chairs.
Chairs are clearly not safe.
Not safe.
They might be the culprits.
Not safe.
Okay.
Okay. Would anybody eat frosted flakes at a time like this?
You never brought the chocolate tacos.
Right.
Or the churros.
All right. Get some frosted flakes.
Oh god.
Why the electricity keeps going out?
What's happening? Oh, God, Peter!
This is strange.
Wait, did Peter kill Chloe and then kill himself?
Okay, Chloe's bleeding out of her mouth.
It's internal.
You know what? No one should stand over there. Everyone that's over there gets killed.
This is weird.
I feel like I kind of want to stand here and hold his dead body a little bit, though.
What? Oh, he's got electrical
They're all
impulse issues.
flinching. This is what it's like.
What's up? Are we killing them?
I don't know. I didn't know.
I have blood on me.
I think the killer might be in the house.
Please. I trust all of you implicitly.
Okay.
I'm scared and hungry because no snacks have showed up.
I ordered Chinese.
Yeah! General Tso!
Yeah?
I want sesame chicken and can I
Trying to
get
get something.
egg rolls?
All right.
Brown rice.
Shoelaces on mine.
Oh, that's too bad. I'll have to.
Okay. So that couldn't have been me.
I ordered an Uber like an hour ago. Oh my god!
Okay. This is really getting weird. This is getting really strange. All right.
And I'm
This is
really,
like.
and I'm still really hungry and it's,
Yeah.
and now I'm getting
Yeah.
angry, but I'm not killing,
Okay.
I'm not doing this.
Okay. All right.
I'm not doing
All right.
this.
Listen. I'm gonna pack a bomb. All right. We're gonna pack a bomb and come back out. All
But
right.
can you bring like some snacks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just gonna,
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
case
We
someone
just see
wakes
if we
up,
have-
I
oh,
wanna like
pretzels.
save their life.
I could deal with all of this if I have a dog.
At least it's not
What?
smelling yet.
Oh. Oh. Oh shit! Oh fuck.
Wow. This took a turn.
I didn't do it!
Okay.
Oh,
LG,
God.
this is.
I know, it looks bad for.
This is looking bad. I am seeing a lot of blood, a lot of bodies, a lot of you. You thought about that?
No, I am all on reboot. All I have talked about for months is it's Sabrina the reboot.
Yeah,
This is-
Sabrina. No,
this
I know.
is-
We all wanted to watch Sabrina the reboot.
I feel like you're the hostess with the mostest and have the most access to mostessing.
It's interesting. Yeah. Right.
I feel like I trust you a whole lot, and that I just want to be real close to you because this is.
Gee, we've been friends for
We've
such
been
a long
friends
time.
for such a long time.
Right? We've been friends for such a long time.
Yeah.
Okay? We trust each other, right?
Me too. I
Right.
totally do. I watch movies about dogs.
You
farting.
watch my child.
I watch your child.
Yes.
I
You babysat my child last
Yeah.
night even. Why, LG, of course you're safe with me.
Yeah.
Come on.
I just feel so great.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Bowler?
What?
Bowler, I feel like maybe Nolan's. Oh!
Party, everybody. Happy Halloween.
It's chunky. I taste the orange zest. I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I taste the orange zest.
Tastes like beets.
Tastes like puree beets.
Keep it going for the brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is going to stop, but the night's not quite over. We encourage you to feel free to hang out, get some more drinks, get some more food, and have a great rest of your night. Happy Halloween!